Don't be banging pots and pans in there while I'm trying to record this intro. All right? Jeez. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Very special week. We have a 2-week episode, and I'm pumped for it. But first of all, I wanted to start off by saying how blessed I am to be married. You know that? I come home today, and I see that my wife went to the grocery store. I see a loaf of bread. I said, "Oh, what'd you get at the grocery store?" She says, "Oh, I got some stuff for lunch tomorrow. It's going to be awesome." So I was like, all right, cool. We got some good sandwiches. We've been getting this lunch meat the last couple times. So I was like, "Oh, did you get the same shit that we were getting? It's pretty good." And she was like, "Nope, got something even better. You're going to love it." I was like, "Oh, really?" She was like, "Yep." I said, "What is it?" She said, "I ain't telling. I'm just going to make it and you're going to eat it." So I said, "All right, I'm going to go in there and look what it is." I open up the drawer where we store all the sandwich making accoutrement, and I see one tomato, a tangerine size lump of fresh mozzarella, and a plastic container of fresh basil leaves. So if you don't understand what that means she's making sandwiches with mozzarella, tomato, and basil on it. Nothing else, but that's what's going to be in my lunch for this week. And you know what? I've been with my beautiful wife for 5 years, and not once in my entire life ever have I ever requested basil on anything in the world. In fact, I tell her to leave the basil out of my portion of the food. But you know what? She's making me a sandwich, and I'm not going to complain because, you know what? It's going to be made, and I'm going to eat it, and it's not going to be terrible, but it's just going to be some tomato, basil, and mozzarella. And you know why it's going to be that? It's because she likes that food. And you know what? Husbands sacrifice they sacrifice their taste buds to make their wives happy. And that's the moral of that story. Anyway, very special guest I have for you this week. His name is Matt Christie, and he is the owner and executive chef of a incredible restaurant right down in the Southside called Streets on Carson. Streets on Carson is they make unreal food. It's street foods from around the world, as that's part of their slogan on their Instagram. But I feel that doesn't do it justice, because whenever I think of street foods, I think of the weird ass vendors you see, vendors and food truck drivers that you see in random random parts of the city that are kind of sketch, but you roll the dice a little and see how it goes. This is not what that is. This is just a full experience. But I wanted to interview Matt because coming up on June 14th, a local artist by the name of Evil Fran or Jeremy Murray or Narf is doing an art show. And it's going to be hosted at Streets on Carson. The art show is called Dog Pile on the Rabbit. And it is going to be dope. And so Matt, the owner of Streets, is a fan of artists and creativity in the city, you could say. I interviewed him in his living room, and you could just tell from all the pieces around his on his living room walls, you could tell the dude is just a fan of just creative people and artwork. And Fran or Evil Fran or Narf or Jeremy, whichever way you might know this guy, is friends with Matt, and they put their heads together and created this art show. And I always wanted to talk to Matt because I really genuinely enjoy Streets on Carson's food and everything. It's just unreal. And the dude is just very interesting. I met him one time. He came into the shop and we talked a little bit. Always very, very nice guy, respectable. But it's he's someone that he looks like all my friends, covered in tattoos, plugs in his ears and everything. But just super respectful and to meet him and find out that he was the owner of Streets, I was like, holy shit, like this dude definitely like knows his shit, because like that's how incredible of a restaurant this place is. I first got exposed to it by one of my other buddies. He took me there on the year anniversary, which we talk a little bit about in this episode, but I mean, I was blown away. It's just, like I said, it's a whole experience, but I figured this is going to be the location of Dogpile on the Rabbit. So I wanted to kind of give a background to that, because I really like what Matt and his wife Lauren are doing. They've been open for, I think, almost 2 years now, maybe a little bit more. And I mean, they're fucking killing it. Everything they make there is unreal. In fact, after I did my interview, I took home takeout for me and my wife, and I asked Matt and his wife Lauren. I said, "What would you guys choose off the menu for me to take home right now? Like, what would you recommend?" So he told me that they have this stuff called a choripan, which is like a hot sausage. So I got a hot sausage sandwich, which is, I mean, that does not give it any glorification. Just a hot sausage sandwich. Like, the shit is gourmet, I'm telling you. And then I also had a pork sandwich called pan con chicharron, which was like this crazy pulled pork. And I mean, like, I don't even know everything that was on it. It was just seriously unreal. And the side that they came up with was chicken stick with pincho mofongas. Like, I'm not even pronouncing this shit right. And I know that I'm not doing any justice to the names, but I mean, I just have to urge anyone that's listening to go try it out. Right on down East Carson Street, 1120, right across from Jack's, in the heart of all good things out of the city of Pittsburgh. Jack's Bar and Streets on Carson, all in one walking distance away. But like I said, Thursday you're going to hear my conversation with artist Jeremy Murray, but today you're going to hear my conversation with Matt Christie about how he kind of got all this up and running. I'm a fan of cooking, I'm a fan of food, and I mean, I've always had some questions I wanted to ask, and what better person to ask than someone who is a real person that's doing this, like this dude is just so welcoming. And I mean, we never really knew each other before. We met each other once, but I don't know, dude. I really like the guy. I'm pumped to see what he's doing. I'm pumped for him and his wife and the whole crew down at Streets, and definitely check it out. So without further ado, episode 22, part 1, I guess. Episode 22, part 1 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Matt Christie.
Telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. Unique New York. Unique New York.
Unique New York.
You ever see Anchorman?
Yeah.
Some people won't pick it up. So I asked you what your favorite drink was.
What's in the cup?
Turner's, of course. Nothing like it. That's that Mon mud water.
And you and so anyone who listens to this right now, this is a 2-week podcast. On Thursday, Evil Fran, Narf, he introduced himself as Jeremy, like you'll hear his interview on Thursday, but he is the first person that I've talked to that picked Turner's Tea, and like I've been waiting for someone to like tell me Turner's Tea to like grip up, because I obviously grew up on it. I haven't drank it for like 4 years though. It's like I kind of steered away from it. The cat's just scared the shit out of me. It's scary.
Waking up.
So introduce yourself.
Well, my name's Matt Christie. I'm the owner and executive chef of Streets on Carson at 1120 East Carson Street in the Southside.
And how long has that been open?
We're about 2.5 years in now. About
Yeah.
2.5 in.
And what would you say the type of food is that you make?
It's international street food is what we call it and stuff like that, and that's pretty much exactly what it is. What we do is, well, what I do is me and my wife, I research markets and bazaars and like shit like that around the world.
Yeah.
And when I find like cool markets, like if you go to a fair, or if you go anywhere, there's always, or any city like Permanis is the Pittsburgh, there's always that one cool thing that everybody's serving, like in a fair or a bazaar or a market. So once I find like a market in Rio de Janeiro and stuff like that, then I start researching, well, what's that one thing like 20, 30 people are serving in that market? What's indigenous to that area?
So whatever's like hot to that,
Yeah.
what that area is known for.
Yeah, and then once I find that thing, and then I geek out and I do all the research how to authentically replicate everything to the T. And I've had a lot of people come from South America, Europe and stuff like that, come in here and eat stuff and be like, yo, that's spot on. That's exactly like it.
Yeah, man. Like I was opened up to this by my buddy Tom. He the first time the first time I ate here was the year dinner that you guys
You
put
were
on.
here for that?
I was here for that.
Get the hell out.
Yeah, dude, I was
not
here for
even
that.
aware.
That butternut squash bisque was like it was unreal because
what's
like
up.
it's like you serve this like. You brought out this bowl that was just like some yellow shit, and I'm just like, you know what? I never had butternut squash bisque, but like, fuck it, right? So I ate it, and I was like, how good could this be? And it was seriously the best soup that I've ever had. It's like, I'm not even gonna lie to you and like try to say that it's because like you're sitting here, but like it seriously was just so good, and it's just fucking butternut squash. Like people wouldn't order that, I feel. So now that I'm older, I'm trying to like get off. Like I try new things, and I don't know, I just like food. It's like. What you have to like I feel like that's all I really do. I don't drink or anything, so it's just like
That's cool.
I go out and I just eat food.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man.
Nothing
It's
wrong
one
with
of the-
that.
It's one of the best things in the world, and I mean, that's why I always believe like people like if you have health restrictions and stuff like that, you limit your food and stuff like that because of a need to.
Yeah.
But if you just purposely start eliminating like large sections, like vegetarians, like cool, that's cool.
Yeah,
If
whatever
if
you
that's
wanna
what you're
do.
into, that's cool. But you're limiting yourself on one of the greatest
Dude,
joys
killing
that
yourself.
we're fortunate enough to have in this
Killing
world, and that's
yourself.
eat amazing food. And these people eliminate themselves from, and I don't get it. Also, too, that butternut squash bisque is one of my wife's favorites.
Dude, it was seriously unreal. And like all that food that was there, it was all stuff that I've never had before. What was you had duck foie gras. It was
No, I had a duck rillette is what it was, which is basically pureed like duck leg thigh. Puree the meat, and then I float a little bit of fat on the top, clear duck fat on the top.
see like that shit no one's eating right now. It's like you got to go out of your comfort zone to like even like experience shit like that. And, like that's like one thing me and my wife do because like we don't have kids or anything, and like we try to go around and like we spend our fucking money on food and like go just different experiences. Like, so how did you even get into cooking? Like, where did you grow up?
I mean, like, well, from the beginning, like I grew up in Beaver Falls, Chippewa, like 45 minutes outside of Pittsburgh. Went to Blackhawk High School, and like when I was like 4 or 5 years old, like I never said I wanted to be like an astronaut, cop, anything like that. All I ever said was I wanted to be a chef. Maybe it was the commercials, like,
Really? From
after
that long ago?
Scooby-Doo and shit like that. But like since I was 5 years old, that's all I ever said I wanted.
That's
was
dope.
that, and I just set my eyes on it my whole life and just kept pushing towards that goal.
Now, did you have like people in your family that were real big into cooking?
Nah, everybody sucked. No one could cook. My mom was horrendous. My grandparents were horrendous. No one could cook worth a shit. So I kind of felt it might have been my duty to actually learn how to cook.
Yeah, yeah, dude, that's wild. So,
But
like,
I mean, there was no grandma teaching me shit or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, by the time I was 16, my dad wouldn't let me in the kitchen with my mom. I'd be talking too much shit, and he'd tell me to get the hell out.
so like, what was some shit you first remember like really cooking? Like my first shit that I remember that I started like cooking by myself whenever I was probably like 6, 7 was like omelets. Like I just remember like
It was
eggs and
breakfast
shit.
for sure.
Yeah, breakfast shit because
Yeah.
like I just remember I started fucking around with it with my dad, and like my parents both worked from 4th grade on. I was like by myself after school, so I would come home, make myself some food, and watch a fucking movie, and just kind of like progressed from there.
Yeah, like it was definitely breakfast for me. I remember being definitely like around the 7 or 8 age, and I would make this thing I'd call like a monster breakfast. And in the morning, I would never watch on like weekends on Saturday and Sunday and stuff. Like I would never watch cartoons. I always watch QED.
Yeah.
And I'd watch Julia Childs, and I'd watch Yan Can Cook, and I'd watch Jacques Pepin. And like I would make this massive breakfast of like hash browns, like 10 slices of deli ham and shit like that, like 6 pieces of toast. And like my parents wouldn't even wake up and mess with me. Like I would just do my thing and then sit down and watch cooking shows all morning long and shit.
That's wild, man. So like
I thought about that in years, actually.
I know, it's interesting. Like you'd start talking to people. That's why I ask people about like them being young, like how like it's interesting like how someone like I never met anyone that owned their own restaurant, like a prestigious type restaurant in Pittsburgh that like makes some out of the box like different types of food. Like how does someone even get into that? It's interesting you've been into it since like you could remember.
Yeah, like that was it. Like I never wanted anything else. And like my wife tells me like it's very fortunate that you know, you knew what your passion was at such a young age.
Absolutely, dude.
And I mean, I literally counted the years down. My older brother, like, he didn't have a job, like, right when he was 16 and stuff like that. And I was, like, 12, 13. And I was like, yo, man, I wish I was your age so I could get out there and get a job. And I'd always look at the classified ads and shit about jobs hiring and stuff. And I was fortunate enough to finally catch a cooking job at 15.
Oh, yeah? Where was that at?
It was called the 19th Hole. It was a shitty bar.
The 19th Hole.
Out in Chippewa.
The 19th
It's
hole.
right next to Blackhawk High School. It's down from the golf course.
I've only been to the golf course, so like I've been to the golf course twice.
What, Blackhawk?
Yeah, Blackhawk golf course.
It's right. It's the same road.
Yeah, probably.
On the way.
What was it? Just like a bar and grill type place?
Yeah, just it was seriously like a dive bar. Like at like 15, like I started like seeing like what the underbelly is. Like I knew all these pot dealers and drunks and like all this shit, and I'm like, this is crazy. I was
see
like,
all the people.
Yeah, and all I was doing was deep frying wings and cooking a bunch of fish sandwiches on Friday night and stuff.
Bet.
And I thought I was getting it too.
Fish Fridays in Pittsburgh, bro.
Yeah, man, it was crazy.
So whenever you were growing up, were you like picky eating, or were you like?
Yeah, I was super picky. I don't know. I was just real weird about food when I was younger and stuff like that. Like I liked cooking and shit like that, but I was real weird. And it wasn't until like I actually started working and like doing it at like 15 that like everything started changing.
And you started like
well, I started with the fish and the wings and stuff, and then I actually was at like a keg party in a field, and I wrecked into this like meat knuckle jock dude's car. I backed into it because my window is icy. I told my homie like look out, and I like backed the car up, and I put his quarter panel back behind his tire. And he was like this like 19-year-old shithead, and I was like fresh 16.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, my mom's an insurance agent. I can call her. I'm like, yo, like I'll lose, like my parents will freak the fuck out. Like I can't have this.
Yeah.
So the dude I worked for, I went to him. He was extorting me for like $700 for this fucking quarter panel.
Jesus.
Fuck you, Nate Brewer, if you're out there, real rat. And fucking so my best friend, his dad, he was a chef, owned a restaurant back in Beaver County called Giuseppe's, and we were hanging out after school, smoking cigarettes, and he came downstairs and he told me like, I'm hearing you're having this problem with like this car and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And he gave me $700 to pay the kid, and he's like, you come work for me now. You say you want to be a chef and shit like that. And he had like a real restaurant. Till this day, I consider him my mentor. He's the one that gave me the philosophy and everything like that. And he was like, come work for me. If you want to be a chef, I'll show you how to cook.
That's like some
like,
Bronx
bet.
Tale shit.
So quit the job, went and worked at Giuseppe's, and I went and I did that. And like they like were an actual restaurant that like made stocks, cleaned all their meats, cleaned all their fish.
Yeah.
Like
really did it right.
Did it right. And like that's all he ever preached to me was doing it right and stuff like that.
And this was when you're 16, you said?
Yeah,
like right around there.
16. Yeah, I just got my license. I hit that car. Yeah.
What
Like,
was
like
high school like for you? Like, were you like? Did you like high school? Did you hate it?
Nah, it really wasn't my thing. Like I hung out, smoked weed, did drugs, like fucking partied, field party, shit like that.
Yeah.
But like,
You were dead set on cooking.
yeah. But I was like an honor roll student. I didn't take like the hardest classes in the world. But like I was an
I don't
honor
know
roll.
why people did that.
My pops told me because like I got in a grip of trouble and shit when I was younger. Like in 7th grade, I got in all kinds of trouble. And high school for me was 8th through 12th. And my dad told me, he was like, yo, like you want to be a chef, you want to do this and stuff like that in your life. He was like, you keep doing this shit, you're gonna go to prison. He was like, so get it together, and I'll see that you go to culinary school whenever you finish high school.
Yeah.
8th through 12th, I think I missed honor roll like a couple times. That's it. Like,
yeah?
Like, learned how to stay out of trouble. Still was a fucking idiot, but
yeah,
like,
but you learned how to.
I stay out of trouble.
You still got what you needed to do done.
Yeah, but so I went and did all that and left high school and went to culinary school and shit like that.
How did you like that?
It wasn't bad.
Yeah?
It wasn't bad. Culinary school, like my mentor told me, he's like, save your money. It's stupid. Like, they
yeah.
ain't going to teach you shit. Like, you should work.
You feel like you learned shit, though?
No, I learned a lot of French words, and I learned how to butcher, like, whole meats and stuff like that. That's what I really picked up from it. Like, other than that, like, all I did was smoke weed and go to class and, like, was still on Dean's list and showed up every day and, like...
was it did you have classwork? Like...
Yeah, you would go in the morning and you would do 3 hours... Well, the way my schedule was, it depends on what time you started in the day, but, like, I started at, like, 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
And your first 3 hours were a kitchen. So, like, you showed up to class
okay.
and you were in a lab, technically, whatever they want to call
Yeah,
it, a
yeah,
kitchen.
yeah.
And then you would do that for 3 hours. And then after you would do the 3 hours of that, you'd go to lunch for, like, an hour. And then you'd go do, like, 3 more hours of classroom, 3 different classroom classes, an hour apiece.
Yeah.
So it was lame. Like, you did, like, math classes and stuff that were, like, what you took in, like, 8th, 9th grade. Now,
Yeah.
I was fresh out of high school, and, like, dudes that were, like, in their 30s and shit, they were having, like, a mad hard time.
Oh,
like,
I bet.
With basic grammar
I
and your
bet.
English classes and all that stuff.
I didn't
was
pay
like,
attention
because
in
I'm
school.
35 now, and if I would go and take, like, those grammar classes and stuff like that,
everyone would
I'd
fuck up.
fucking flunk.
Dude, I regret not like paying attention in English classes more than anything, just because like I
Yeah.
sound like a fucking idiot now. If I like am in an email, I don't even know where to put a comma, semicolon. I don't even pretend anymore, and I just don't put them in at all.
You have your wife proofread all your shit?
Dude, she definitely
wife
knows
does
more
all
than
my
I.
shit.
She knows more than I do. It's like I'll write the meat of it, and she'll get the idea, and then she'll like, if I have some shit that I have a question, how do you spell this? Didn't look right. Oh, it didn't look right. I throw that out at the end. It didn't look right.
I shit you not. Like, we have the same operation with like writing things. Like, I'll give you the meat of it. I'll write
Yeah.
it out exactly how I'd speak to you here. Like,
Yeah.
all mishmash, no
Shine it up.
punctuation, nothing.
Shine it
Give
up.
it to her. You read it back. It's like a
Exactly.
college paper, and it sounds so smart and intelligent.
Absolutely. So like you're like, how do your wife has she been into cooking at all? Or
No, my
was
wife,
that like a new thing.
When I met my wife, she was a Duquesne student, a senior at Duquesne, and she was like going to be like a pharmacist, and then
Okay.
changed from being a pharmacist to like marketing management,
Yeah.
like thing like that. But she always worked in restaurants as like a server.
Okay,
and
so
stuff
kind of
like
knew
that.
the world a little bit.
Yeah. So when I met her, she was a hostess at Meat and Potatoes, and I was running the French restaurant on the side of the Holiday Inn down here in the Southside, and I told her, I was like, come work for me. I'll get you a job, girl. And got her a job. And like, she started working for me, and like, we like immediately started living together and stuff like that. And, you know, she's been rolling deep. Like,
She was
me
out
and
there
her
hustling
used to
pork
hustle hard.
sandwiches
Like,
with you.
Like when we first met and stuff like that, we worked together. I was executive chef. She was a server and stuff. And like, me and her we would always joke that it was a racket, like how good we would do together and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And she graduated school and tried to go do the business world and stuff like that. And like, she wasn't feeling it and stuff. And her dad's like, she started breaking it down to her dad about how much money you actually can make as a server if you
Yeah.
take it serious and professionally and work in the right place.
Yeah.
And her dad's like, Jesus Christ, like, why don't you keep doing that? So me and her kept going at it, and then finally found a place, you know what I mean, and put it together.
Yeah, so like, I mean, this was the end goal pretty much for you, was to like have your own restaurant.
I mean, yeah, ultimately, yeah. When I always said that and stuff like that, because I mean, you don't want to just be a line cook and work for someone the rest of your life and stuff like that.
That's the goal. You want to be your own boss.
Yeah, you want to be your own boss. I
That's
mean,
it.
everybody wants to be their own boss. Everyone
Yeah.
hates listening
or
to
close
shit.
or close to being the own boss.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like
But that's the ultimate goal. Like, I opened up like 4 restaurants for people and stuff like that, and then
Yeah.
it's just the ultimate end result.
So how did you
Things.
progress from like you know, the Giuseppe's, like the bar and grill, and like you went from the bar and grill up to like a Giuseppe's, and like how does someone like pretty much just like break into the higher levels of the cooking world?
You gotta
I feel like that
you
it's
gotta
just like
you gotta suck the dick, so to
yeah,
say.
yeah. I feel like you just gotta
Get
like
a good
do
one
the
on your
shit.
resume. That's
Yeah.
what you got to do. And me, after I graduated culinary school, I moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh yeah,
And I moved to Grand Rapids, and you know the Amway pyramid scheme. where like you sell shit and then get people below you to sell shit.
Yeah.
Basically with these fitness things, all these
Yeah,
girls
Everett, tummy
doing that.
wraps, all that. Yeah,
It's basically the same thing.
I talk about it in stand up all day.
You know what I mean? So the Amway Pyramid Scheme, they own this huge, massive hotel. They basically own the whole city of Grand Rapids, the Van Andels and the Vosses. And,
Okay.
they own this huge 5-star hotel. And when I left culinary school, me and a girl moved out there together that I went to school with. And I got a job in this hotel. And there's like 7 different departments you could work in the hotel. And the one super high-end restaurant in the whole city was the 1913 room. And like that's like tuxedo, mahogany cards,
really?
silver domes, like crazy
Like legit shit.
classical French shit.
Yeah.
And so there's these sports bars, main kitchen where you cut onions. So there's like 10 kids like coming in there to work, and we're doing orientation. And after orientation's done, they bring all the chefs in from the departments and go, all right, and start calling names like you're picking a kickball team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On where you're going.
Yeah.
And the dude was standing there, Chef Chris, and he called my name, and I was the only person that went there. And all
Really?
these kids I was standing there with were like, yo, that's sick. Like, I can't believe you're going up there. And there were all these kids I've never met before and stuff. Some of them were from my school and shit like that I didn't know but went to school with me.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing is, when you go to culinary school, 90% of everybody that goes there has worked at the Gap or, like, Burger King. They look at it as an easy way out of college.
Yeah.
And me, when I went to school, it was one of the last, like, generations, like, that wasn't influenced by TV. Like, Emerald was never on TV yet. Like, none of that ever happened yet.
And you mentioned before, who did you watch? Who did you watch?
Jacques Pepin,
Yeah,
Julia Childs,
Okay, yeah,
and Martin Yan, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And the best show ever, Great Chefs of the World, is just classical music and chefs cooking. Like, that's it.
Oh, that's
like,
it?
It was the illest show. I'd watch it. I'd smoke weed every day after high school and watch 2 episodes of it to get in my car and go to work at 5 o'clock. Like, it was
Wow.
the dopest show. I loved it. Still
I do
love
like watching cooking shows. Like I even like watching the kitschy ones where it's like, you know, like the diners, drive-ins, and dives and shit. Like that shit is cool to me.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you know what I mean? It's cool to get
Everyone's
get
out there
your name on this
hustling.
stuff. Yeah,
Everyone's out there hustling.
but yeah. Where the hell was I?
I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were talking about being out in Michigan with these 10 people and going to that.
I went to that place. So I was the only one that went up there, and this dude was just like. Now when I went out there, like I was like. I did real good younger, like working in Beaver County and stuff like that. So like I thought I knew something about something when I really didn't know shit. And I went there and I worked for this classical French ass restaurant. And the first day I showed up for work, I was like, oh, it's a pleasure to be here, like doing the prim and proper thing, shaking his hand. And this French dude's like, yeah, talk to me in a week. And then I just see him start berating this like big kid, like, tuck your fucking shirt in, look like you're fucking somebody, you're a fucking slob, and like just like all
real
that
shit.
like the shit you see like Gordon Ramsay do. It was
yeah.
like that, like amplified times 10. And like I snickered like a dumb shit, and like he was like, what are you laughing at, kid? Da 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 da. Like the dude was a tyrant. Like he used to say they would erect statues of him for the way he treated kids and shit like that. And like they couldn't get someone to stay up there and do like garde manger and stuff. So
What is that?
it's just it's like salads and desserts.
Say it again.
Salads and desserts.
No.
Garde manger.
Salad and dessert. Garde manger.
Garde manger.
I never heard that. Okay.
Yeah, it's French for like the art of cold food, I think is what it translates
shit.
to, if I remember correctly. But so this dude would just berate people and stuff. My first day I worked there, he sent me home, told me to go get my knives at my house. I forgot my knives at my house on my first day of work. Sent me home to get them, and then I come back and there's this goofy thing called tourneing vegetables, where it's like 2.5 inches and it's 7 symmetrical sides. It's like a football, and like the French have a real hard on about doing them, and that's like the one thing. Like to this day, I really can't do it. And
It's you cutting a vegetable.
yeah, you take
Oh,
you
okay.
take like a wedge of a carrot or a potato, and you make like 7 symmetrical sides. Like
Okay.
It's called turning, some call it. But,
Jesus.
but that was the biggest, scariest thing I had going into this classical French restaurant my first day. He goes, you know how to tourner? They teach you that in that big fancy school you spent money to. I went to Pennsylvania Culinary on Liberty Avenue. I didn't go to some big fancy school.
Yeah.
he's like busting my balls all the time about the college I went to and shit. And I was like, yeah, it's not my strongest point. He goes, well, Matt, he goes, the thing about it is he's like the first 500 are bitch, and after that, it's all gravy. and gave me like a milk crate full of Yukon Gold potatoes and was like, there's 8 on every order of Soul, and we only have enough for 2 orders right now. Services in 30 minutes start fucking turning.
Oh,
and
my
like,
God.
Dude did this to me forever and just fucked with me, but like...
Made you so much better, probably.
Made me so much better. And like now if I met the dude and shit, like I would really shake his hand. Like I would literally go home like half in tears, like pulling hair out of my head.
Oh, I
like,
bet.
Like the dude just mentally fucked me.
They're trying to break you down and build you back up.
Yeah. And then when I left him and I went up to the 27th floor of the hotel, is the highest point of the city. Oh, when I was there, we earned the highest ranking for the best restaurant in the whole state of Michigan. We earned like a 5th diamond and shit like that.
Jesus.
Like AAA or whatever. It's not Michelin stars, but still is the #1 restaurant in the state.
What is, wait. No, just pause for a second. You said what is a Michelin star?
A Michelin star is a French ranking for restaurants and stuff like that. So like only the best of the best. It's a 1 to 5 scale. There's only like a handful of 5s in the whole world.
So how does like a restaurant like yours, like, does it go from 1 star to 4 star?
Yeah, 1 to 5.
1 to 5
is what.
And what's a diamond above a 5 star?
Yeah, it's just a ranking of ambiance, fucking like decor,
all together,
food, like it's your overall
understandable
thing. And the thing is nowadays, this day and age, like I was reading an article and stuff, like all that shit's dying. Like, you know what I mean? Like people don't want to do that no more. Even that restaurant that I'm talking about, I worked in.
Yeah.
I worked there in 2001, 2002. They just put like $2 million into their dining room with like all imported French shit and all their silver and all that stuff. That place closed 4 or 5 years ago, still doing business, still making money.
Really?
But they closed due to the fact that nobody wants to come and be in a fucking tuxedo and go eat no more.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they want that quality nowadays, but they don't want to be dressing up all
and
like
that's
that,
the best
all
thing.
crazy no more. You know what I mean? So even that place, like, its day in the sun died.
Yeah.
Because times change.
Yeah,
You
for
know what
sure.
I mean?
Times
People don't
definitely
want that
change.
no more.
Yeah, no one. I mean, it used to be customary to wear a suit to like a corporate job.
Yeah.
Now I wear jeans and I can wear jeans and a t-shirt to work.
Yeah, it don't fucking matter anymore.
it's-
And so that's what basically came down to with that place. It ended and stuff like that. And I mean, the vision for what I have now and stuff like that, because I work. But I'm getting sidetracked. Like you were saying, that's how you get in that position. Like I became an executive chef at like 21 because I worked in a place like that.
Jeez.
And I had that,
and
dude
like it
fuck
threw you
with
to the
me.
wolves.
Yeah, so I went there and I learned, and I had this amazing place that you could Google and see what it's about. And, you know, you sacrifice and you work a couple years at a real shitty place.
If you're 21, did you get paid well at that time?
What, for my first executive chef?
Yeah.
When I worked for the French dude, I made $7.25 an hour.
Yeah, I knew you weren't getting paid shit
yeah,
because
I was
like
getting paid shit. And even my first executive chef job I ever had, I think my paycheck every 2 weeks was $620.
yeah, everyone I've ever talked to that even cooked like everyone just gets paid shit.
Yeah, you don't make nothing.
Yeah, it's I mean that's how you know you love it.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what separates the men from the mice, and the people that really want to do it and have a sickness for.
People just want to do it
work
for
in a
money,
restaurant.
but people just want to do it because they love it and like a little bit
because
of both.
even what separates things with chefs and stuff like that, you're either a privatized chef or you're a corporate chef.
Yeah.
If you work for corporate cheesecake factories, Bravos, those places, you can make more money.
Yeah, I bet.
And sit in an office and not do shit and
Yeah.
never use your talent or skill.
But if you want some culture and shit and like run your own
and
shit
actually
and
cook.
like and do what you want to do and have your own rules
And that's the split in cooking, is that you're either making your own shit and making barely any money, or you're making nothing of your own and making decent money.
Yep, you either make money and hate your job or make no money and love your job. That's
So I always went with the latter. I tried to break into corporate worlds and people wouldn't hire me because they said I wasn't a corporate guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
fuck 'em.
And honestly, I would have never fucking
Yeah, they probably
last
did
doing
you a
that
favor.
shit. Yeah, they did me a favor.
So like you opening up here, like what? So you were 21 whenever you were this executive chef, and how old are you right now?
35.
You're 35. So like from there, what was your next move after that job? Like how did you come back here?
So from Michigan,
Yeah.
my father got cancer, and he was a Vietnam vet, did 3 tours, was a Marine, like
Jesus.
tunnel rat and shit like that. Dude was like larger than life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He started getting migraines and stuff, and I was working out there and shit. I was out there for probably about 2 years now and stuff.
Yeah.
Or just under 2 years.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I've been getting these migraines, and like he drove trains and stuff like that for a living.
Yeah.
So he would go to like Toledo, Ohio or something from Conway, and then like be in a hotel room for like a day or two, and he'd call me out in Michigan, be like, yo, what's up, what's good, da 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 da, and we'd bullshit. And he'd start talking about he got these fucking migraines and he's gonna go get it checked out. And I was going to work one day, and he was getting checked out in the morning, and they like scanned his body, and like the whole top of his brain, a lump on the left back of his brain, a lump in his throat, a lump in his lung. Like he was just fucking thrashed. And it was all from Agent Orange from Vietnam.
Really?
And shit like that is what the cancer was due from.
Jesus Christ.
So he made it like 5 months, and then he died. Like I stayed out there for like a month or two, and he would like bullshit me and like get up on the phone and be like, oh yeah, everything's cool, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then one day I called, my little sister answered the phone, and my little sister, I was like, yo, so what's good, what's happening? And she was like, everything is like bad, dude. I was like, oh, you for real? And like she told me like how bad my dad was, and my dad was just bullshitting me.
Yeah.
So I literally went into work that day and I quit and was like, yo, I'm leaving. And they're like, you signed a contract to work for us for fucking 24 months and stuff. And I was like, all right, bro. I was like, you can do whatever you want with that paper. I was like, I'm telling you, in 2 weeks, I'm out of here, man.
Yeah.
I was like, this is my 2 weeks notice.
Yeah, like,
I'm
how could
bouncing.
they
It's
even...
my family. So I bounced. I came home. And like when I came home, like I think my dad made it like 2 more months and then died.
That's a shame, man.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I mean, that was the course. So that brought me back. And
Yeah.
when I came back, I went back to Giuseppe's.
Oh,
Back
yeah?
to what I knew. They'd let me be a sous chef now. So now
I bet, because you probably shined your shit up something crazy.
Yeah, I polished up.
I know you walked in there all nuts.
Yeah, like
what's this shit going on in
I
here?
at least bullshitted my way to acting like I was polished up and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, fucking, they gave me a sous chef job, and I started my way on management. And then like,
Well, what is exactly like I hear sous chef. What's sous chef?
that's just second in command. There's like an executive chef. There's that dude, and then there's the second dude underneath him. So he's the right hand man.
Okay.
So I started doing that shit and did that for a couple years and helped my mom like get her house paid off, all that stuff. Got my mom all settled down and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then I bounced. I had friends up here on the Southside. Like I started coming up to the Southside when I was like 15 and in high school, like partying and stuff. And I heard about these guys up here that needed help at Felino's. Like I heard that they were looking for possible new chef and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I came up here, interviewed with them, and like I came out drinking the night before an interview like a dumbass, and I go to the place and I see the dude, this chef dude that I'm supposed to be interviewing with, and after the bar's done, Little Chicago's is selling dollar slices, and I see this dude in a circle, and while he was in the bar talking to me, he was like, oh, these employees are unruly, like, we need to overhaul the staff, I need guys like you, and like all this bullshit to do. And I walk out to go get a slice of pizza, and here he's standing in this big circle of people, and there's these two dudes, one dude holding a skateboard back, telling him he's going to crack his skull, other dude threatening to beat the living snot out of him, and like the dude sees me in the crowd, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, this is wild. Get my slice, come in the next day, this dude's all jazzed up in the kitchen. That was 2 of his employees.
Oh, yeah?
And like he's like, this is unbelievable. He's like, you seen what happened, all this stuff, and he's whining all morning. I'm supposed to be doing like this working interview, and I'm like, yo, like this is real weird.
Yeah.
And the owners were away on vacation, and my dude, rest in peace, Mark Fonzie, like was like interviewing me and shit like that, and fucking he sits down to talk with me, and they end up firing that dude while I'm sitting there, and he comes over while I'm talking to Mark and throws a clipboard at me and goes, I guess you're going to fucking need this, and throws a clipboard at me. I'm like, yo, I don't even know if I want to work in this place.
Yeah,
like,
I know, right?
I was like, this is fucking insane.
It's like, hey, maybe I don't want this job.
I was
No.
like, these people are insane and shit like that.
Wow.
So I take the job. And
Yeah, I'll take it. Fuck it.
So I was like, fuck it. I want to hold the dice one time. Let me be the boss. I just want to hold the dice. And so it was cool. Like, showed up, and it turned out that dude was just a turd. And like those guys that were messing with him ended up becoming up good friends of mine.
Oh, yeah?
And stuff like that. Becoming
So
homies.
it was just him that was
Yeah,
just like...
he was just a turd. He was a turd, and he tried to flex on these dudes and stuff like that. And like, I came in, I just cooked. Like, I didn't come in like, yo, I'm a boss. My prep cook that works for me here.
Yeah.
My man G. I met him my first day there, and he still works for me to this day. Like,
Oh, yeah?
Like, he's my longest running relationship in life, and like my brother. Like,
That's dope, man.
yeah, like me and him been together. Every job I've had in the city, he quits wherever he's at and comes
That's
with
fucking
me. I showed
awesome.
up from Philly. When I showed back up from Philly, he's like, "What's good?" I was like, "Where you at?" He's like, "TGA Fridays at the console. This shit sucks." I was like, "I got this job at this French restaurant, bro. I'm opening this French restaurant up." He's like, "Bet I quit right now." And fucking was
Dude,
that
that is
on my
dope.
stoop, on my door stoop the next morning.
So this place over here that you started up, were you able to were you picking your own menu and shit like that?
Yeah.
To a certain extent?
To some extent, because when you're still working for people and you have owners and you're just a
Yeah,
chef,
I bet they have some reins over you and shit.
yeah, I mean, it's their money in the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, exactly.
You know, they got to believe
Fucking
in you.
young kid
but-
with tattoos, pick whatever the fuck you want.
Whatever the fuck you want. Nah, that dude would always say to me, and that dude was a horrible dude too.
Did you enjoy it though? Did you enjoy cooking other shit? Do you think it was beneficial?
Yeah. But when I was at that, I was doing classical French shit. I went back to that fancy restaurant and the shit I learned when I was younger. I still have a Rubbermaid tote that's completely full of all my little notebooks and everything from when I was 17.
I mean,
years
I
old.
bet.
I still reference recipes I had when I was 18 and shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go back and just tweak
Yeah,
and shit.
and that's what that was like my basis. I love classical French. That's my thing. That 1 year dinner you went to.
Yeah.
You ate some braised pig cheeks.
Yeah,
and shit
braised
like
pig
that.
cheeks.
You
Dude,
know?
they were unreal.
You know what I'm saying?
Unreal.
Butternut squash bis. A rillette. A rillette is classic French, like a motherfucker.
What is rillette?
That's the duck
Oh,
pate
shit.
thing.
Okay. I'm trying to keep up with all the names. It's a lot of fucking technical names.
Yeah, that's what that was. Yeah.
So you move. So you're running this restaurant right now, and what's your mindset? Did you have this in your mind that you're I'm all right, I'm gonna work to open this fucking restaurant, or were you still just grinding?
No, I was still grinding. Me. So I opened the French place, met my wife, and
How long you been together?
we've been married now 7 years. We've been
Oh,
married
shit.
2 years, and we dated 5.
That's dope,
And then
man.
we eloped at the kitchen table right there, and
Really?
opened the restaurant a week later.
Dude, I technically got married in my living room, but we ended up having a wedding, and my boy came in from Colorado and did us our officiant and everything.
Nice. We ended up having to go out to Bethlehem, where she's from. She's from outside of Philly.
Yeah.
And, we had just a reception out there with her family and
Smart,
everything.
smart.
Yeah.
It's a big fucking spending money
Yeah,
fiasco
yeah.
having a wedding.
But so me and her were just rocking out doing that, and that ended, and a couple other jobs, and she worked a couple places. I opened this place right before this out in Allison Park, and while that was going on, it was wildly successful, and my father-in-law came and came on opening night, and then was always there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he started telling me and started busting my balls all the time. And he was like, "Stop being a pussy. Put your cards on the table.
Yeah.
Take a chance. Stop working for all these assholes and have them working you to your bone for no money, man."
Yeah, man.
He was like, "It's not worth it." He was like, "Do your own thing. Do your own thing," and kept saying it to me. And I got engaged to my wife. I got engaged to her, and we were sitting in Jack's eating Easter dinner for free.
Yeah?
Because if you don't know, Jack's is every holiday they put out a holiday spread for everybody that's free. So
Man.
a lot of my adult life, I don't really mess with my family much.
Yeah.
So a lot of my adult life, I was lying, saying I was working, and I was sitting over Jack's just getting drunk with all the old drunks and
Eating a meal.
eating a free plate.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
You know what I mean? So it was always the good
Legendary
move.
Jack's Bar.
Yeah, so we're sitting in Jax's window, me and my wife eating free Easter dinner, and we watched them put the sign up in the window. There's only 2.
Yeah. I saw a cat dip out of the way.
Yeah, we saw him putting the sign up, and Yo Rita was closed for a while, and we saw him putting the sign up in the window, and we took a picture of it. And
What was this place called?
Yo Rita.
What was it?
It was a taco place.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever been here.
See, the other thing too is that's crazy is the amount of history I have with this building. First time I was ever on the news was in the doorway of here.
Oh, yeah? Was
I
that for
lost
good or
it.
bad?
It was good. It was when they tried to make the smoking ban that lasted less than 24 hours years
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
But it was bad in the sense that the only time I've ever been arrested in my life, I caught a DUI on some dumb shit down here from driving my ex-girlfriend's car like when I shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Because she was a pharmaceutical salesman. I was like, oh, don't drive. And I drove, and I got banged right in front of our house.
The worst.
But so I got my preliminary hearing the next day. I wind up on the 5 o'clock news about the smoking ban in the doorway of my now building. And when I showed up for my preliminary,
God.
I shit you not, the cops like, saw you on the news yesterday, bro. I was like, oh man. I was like, come on, dude. He's like, no, it wasn't nothing, but he was busting my balls.
Yeah.
But lost a girlfriend to a cook here, had multiple friends work here, all this kind of shit. Like the only building I have more history with is where Trace Rios is now. That was my first executive chef job, and one time I was like homeless, like squatting above the place and shit for a period of time.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So, man, like, so you were, there's video of you being in this front stoop on the news before you even opened this building. That's fucking crazy.
But so me and the wife, we seen a sign up, and we literally called the phone number the day after Easter, and it just started snowballing.
Oh yeah.
And we literally would go to Dose and eat tacos.
Yeah.
And like smoke a joint after work, and then come down and like sit on the window stoop and like Wayne's World and be like, wouldn't it be crazy if this really worked out?
Like manifesting a dream in your head.
Like I still didn't know what the name was. I didn't know what the hell the concept was. I didn't know nothing. All I knew is
fuck it.
I wanted to have a building. Because what I wanted to do first in life was have a food truck. But like the laws are just so shitty in Pittsburgh still. Like they're way more.
There's not really any good places to even go. I mean, the best
the laws are what's crazy. The laws that govern the food truck still were from the early 1900s when it was quote unquote roach coaches, and like they were scared to death of like fucking people getting sick. Like the laws that Pittsburgh has is, for one, you're not allowed on Carson at all. 2, Butler Street.
For food trucks, they're not allowed?
5th Ave. You're not allowed in the same spot for like more than like 500, or you're not allowed within any place that serves the same shit as you, like 500 feet.
That's insane.
And then you can't be in a spot for more than an hour, I believe, unless that's why you see like all the food trucks, how they operate. They're in front of like their homie's business. Or their homie's parking lot.
Yeah.
It's never like freestanding in the middle of nowhere on Carson Street or 5th Ave, because you can't do that.
Huh.
They
That's
impede
wild.
that, and like
I seen they just opened that park.
Yep. And that's what it's coming down to, is you got to do that. But every other city has that. The thing that's crazy is Boston and shit like that was in the same boat like 15 years ago. And they literally had a mayor come in that wanted to be like Philly and New York and stuff like that. And like just changed all the laws. And Pittsburgh still
falling behind a little
shitty.
bit.
You know what I mean?
For
so
sure.
I never went about that. I was like, it's going to be too hard to operate and have a food truck. And
fuck around.
Yeah, so just started going on this, and like it took like a year for everything to come through. We walked away from the deal at one point, and when we walked away from the deal, me and my wife were like, we're just going to move to New Orleans and get jobs and just live down there and say piss on it and just move.
Yeah.
And then it came back around. My one boy that's actually down there working with me right now, Bart, he worked for her. Not like I said, I had all kinds of friends I knew worked for her and stuff like that. And like we walked away from the deal, and she called Bart and got my phone number and was like, I know you know that guy that I've been talking to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The old owner. And he gave her my number, and like now full circle, he works for me now too.
That's dope.
And he came back to where he started, and like we just proceeded on after that, and it just slowly.
That's
fucking
fucking wild.
Lawyers and all that and all that fucking headache. And
I bet.
And LCB. And the thing is, when me and my wife went into it, and we were having those like window stoop sessions of Wayne's World down there. She's like, how much? She was like, how much of a learning curve do you think we have? I was like, 70-30, babe. I was like, we're good. 70-30. I was like, 70% I got, 30% we'll figure out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I opened up other places. Boy, I was fucking bass backwards. It was like 30-70. Like, never dealt with LCB and all this.
Oh, I bet it's all that dumb shit.
Dude.
It's stuff that like no one thinks of. Like,
oh, yeah. It's dumb shit. Like, when we had to open, like, they had these stupid stipulations. Like, I had to have, like, they're like, well, you got to have some kind of food in the building. And I'm like, well, I'm not cleared by the health department yet. I ain't allowed to have food in my building yet. Well, you got to have something in the building to like state this shit. They're like, just get 30 hot dogs and 30 hot dog buns to show that you're going to be a food establishment. I'm like, all right,
for real?
bro. Yeah. Like,
wow.
Just weird things. I mean, and the one thing I definitely learned through the process was that having a liquor license is definitely, what do they call that? A luxury?
A luxury, a
Yeah.
blessing and a curse.
Yeah, a blessing and a curse, because the thing is like there's so many goofy rules with everything, and like the amount of
Yeah, I
shit you
bet.
gotta have on hand. Like they can literally show up in here anytime, like the Gestapo, and just flip my whole place. And like, and if I don't have paperwork in line and all this shit in line, like I can get fined for everything I don't have.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely a gift to be able to have one and stuff.
Do they teach you any business aspect of it all in the culinary school?
Yeah, they teach you business school and shit like that, but it's garbage.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not anything that's like you're going to learn
relevant.
from your firsthand experience.
Yeah, and that's my wife, and like it's such a blessing. Like I always say, like she's the absolute brains of the whole thing. Like I'm a schlep. Like I could cook and I could work 24 hours in a day. Like I can do all that dumb shit. But you sit me in front of a computer and budget and plan and be the brains behind an operation to make it work. Like
Dude, my wife is the same way.
You know what I
like,
mean?
She's like the puppeteer kind of. I'm just like doing the work, and she's she got some good ideas. Though I feel like that they might just have like a way to sort. Like I just feel like I have so much shit going on in my head, and it's like I can't like it's like that fucking scene in Harry Potter where Dumbledore just like grabs that fucking name out of there. It's like I feel like anytime I think of one thing, it's just like I'm grabbing something out of this fucking pool. It's hard to like organize everything in my head. It's like I'll be thinking about this podcast shit, I'll be thinking about comedy shit, I'll be thinking about real life shit.
Yeah.
It's just like being an adult is fucked up.
yeah, it is.
So like you took this risk and you started this fucking this I mean awesome restaurant, and it kind of is going pretty well.
Yeah. We've been very fortunate of all the places I've.
How much stress was it in the beginning? Like, but before you opened this place, like, was it seriously like, were you like sick, like losing sleep over shit?
Yeah, because like it literally like started getting the shit where it's like, yo, we gotta like nail this menu now, because we still had jobs. I was working at Lydia's in the Strip, and my wife was working at Stagioni down the street. Like, like so we were still working. Like I worked up until a month before we opened.
Yeah, and so you're fucking working
So
your
I'm
regular
doing this, and
hours,
we're living here,
and then doing just as much work behind the scenes.
Yeah, which was kind of cool though, because like it wasn't like I was just a line cook. Like before every restaurant I really opened, I would always take like a little sabbatical, because it's hard to find like another good job, so to say, in this industry. So when one would end, I would go. I worked at Six Pen. I would just go and just be a line cook, be a saute guy, and throw skillets and just hang out. And like to me, that was a vacation. Like none of us ever got into doing this.
Probably second nature for you.
To do fucking paperwork and deal with all the stress of purveyors and all the other bullshit that goes on. Like I did this to stand on a line and flip skillets and talk shit. Like, unfortunately, that doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah,
you
for
know
sure.
what I mean, so like
nothing fun does.
Yeah, so you gotta grow with everything. But yeah, like I was just doing that, having fun, and then fucking had to jump right into opening the door. And we just literally opened the door one day and
kind of went from there.
there.
How did you guys set on like what did you do for like the visuals of it and like the build out? Like how did you decide what you wanted to do for that?
My homie Jules came in and we just sat there and rapped. Believe it or not, like the majority of my restaurant all goes back to fucking like homies and sitting there and
creative minds
and just talking. Like my wife used to walk around with her fucking notepad on her phone, and we would ride our bikes all over the city and stuff like that. We'd get off work, eat tacos, ride our bikes all around the city, and we would just talk, sit down by the river at 3 a.m.
Bunch of ideas.
Talk.
Yeah.
And she would just keep writing shit down and just keep writing shit down.
That's dope, man.
And my street lights in the window, my one homie Bobby Buckets was like, you know what'd be dope, bro? He'd be like,
listen to me.
I heard recently, bro.
You heard how I know him?
Yeah, I heard how you know him. I just heard that the other night.
Yeah, very, very bizarre. He's going to be on here soon enough.
I'll tell you what, if there's one person I couldn't recommend.
The most interesting ever. My wrestling coach, a wrestling coach. They used to make him wear long sleeve shirts because he had naked lady tattoos. He used to smack our fucking bellies because no one could do anything because he was the older badass kid with tattoos. So he would just fucking bully us. It's a motherfucker.
Fucking bucket.
Such a small world.
Yinzer Playboy.
Then I roll into Blasphemy years later to like try to work there because like I've always been into the clothes shirt. I see it, dude. I seen it. And I walk in and I see him and I'm like, Bo. And he's like, what's up, man? And I'm just like, the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I mean, like, this is my store, kind of. And I was like, holy shit, small world. And just ever since from there, I just like, we just been keeping in touch.
You didn't notice I have a cardboard cutout life size.
Oh, I know. That whenever I thought it was him whenever I came the other time whenever I was here. He's just sitting in the corner.
The range of people that look at that thing and know who he is
Very
is
interesting
fucking
person.
mind-numbing.
He is. He's such an interesting
International
dude.
Yinzer Playboy is exactly what he is.
International Yinzer Playboy.
Yeah,
buckets.
but like even that, like my streetlights in my window at Buckets was like, he was like, yo, you know what'd be sick, bro? He'd be like, put some fucking streetlights in the window, like some actual streetlights and stuff. And I'm
dude.
like, oh, sick, that's a great idea.
How did you find those?
Put it on Facebook. One kid I knew I went to high school with was like, yo, you remember that light in my basement when we were kids and we would like sit there and smoke and chill? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it's still at my mom's house, bro. He was like, you can have it. I was like, bet.
That's fucking dope. Yeah.
Like, I'm into it.
Some nostalgic type shit.
Yeah, it's like fucking
That's sick, man.
Yeah. And then the other one, I needed a stop sign and I needed fucking another street light. So I like look on Craigslist and this chick's like, yo, I got a safe.
Yeah.
Because I needed a safe too.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. So I go look at the safe. Get the safe. There's a stop sign. Get the stop sign. She has a street light too. She's like, now my daughter was a little bit of a wild child. This was like a legitimate street light, and like the wire on the thing, I don't know who her daughter was, a ninja and an
She
assassin.
probably cut it off or something.
Bro, it looked like a rusty steak knife. How she?
Oh my
how framed that in,
God.
but she like literally, it still had the big metal shield around it. I had to cut off.
That's funny.
And then her dad was there, and it was crazy. I wound up in an episode of like American Pickers, like out off of Camp Horn Road in this hoarder's house. And one of my things I have, like a frame I painted with chalkboard paint that has my draft list on it. I bought that at his house for $10. He's like, "Come to my house, come look at all this stuff." And my girl's like,
Dude, that's
"Yo."
the shit that I lived for. It's like going to antique stores and like flea
Yeah,
markets and shit,
yeah,
dude.
I
Like
love
my
that
dad,
shit.
I would come home from school because we would have half days in like kindergarten. My dad would pick me up. We would go right to Olympia Shopping Center.
Fuck yeah.
And I would just like, that's how I started like talking to people. It's just like you're talking to these old dudes just selling random ass shit. So I'm just like I'm never gonna see this dude again.
Have you done the Rogers, Ohio?
The Rogers, Ohio flea market. I don't think so.
Bro.
I don't think so.
The humanity and the amount of flea marketing that goes on in that place.
Rogers, Ohio.
Yeah, Rogers Sale, man, fucking, like, it was literally like 20 minutes from my house. We'd skip school on like Fridays and eat acid and like go out there and just like look at the fucking sea of humanity of these fucking like
Yeah, crazy people out there.
Crazy.
Oh, it's different.
first
That's a
fireworks you
different
ever
world.
buy,
Oh my
pornos,
god!
cigarettes,
knives, wallets, brass knuckles.
My old man walked in my room. I had this knife that with like a 6-inch blade on. I'm just sitting on my bed like, look at this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And my dad walks in and opens the door. He's like, what the hell? Where the hell? Did
Yeah,
you
I
I
know.
got at Rogers for like $3.
Yep, I got a switchblade before. It's still in my dad's drawer in his garage. He away from all this nostalgia shit. Well, let's go back to what we were talking about. I'm curious about
Sorry.
this. No, it's all right. I'm happy about this. I like going down those them little paths. What I'm curious about is like you have such like a different menu. It's like how did you even like even have an idea of what you'd put on there? Because you can't put everything on there. You can't put like just the shit that you like. You got to appeal to appeal to people.
It's one of those things, trial and error. Like normally when I drop a new menu, I let it ride, like just the menu, and I ain't doing nothing else but that for like 3 months. Because I change every 6 months, every Halloween, every Mother's Day. So
That's
like
dope.
that's like when I change, and I do specials. I let the menu just ride for 3 months, and then after 3 months of being able to kick my feet up for a second, it's time to start grinding again.
Yeah.
Start researching again. Start looking for things, and then you start running specials, and what sells is cool, and what doesn't, not so much.
Now, do you just have like little sessions where you'll be fucking late night just making weird shit in the kitchen and like fucking trying to put shit together?
I mean, that does happen,
Yeah.
but it's never usually menu research and development.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's actually with the whole business, it's a joint brainstorm. Like everybody, like my wife with the bartenders, me with my cooks and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, that's a good
it's
point.
not a very like dictatorship like
Yeah,
most
yeah.
restaurants are. Like our place is a very open forum where people bring ideas,
Make
to the
suggestions
table.
and shit.
But yeah, we make
how
suggestions.
it is at
and
Threads, dude.
Look
Like-
at cool things, and I mean that's just how it's better that way.
It is. It's better that way. Like it's exactly how it
Because
is
if you
at
have the
Threads.
mentality that you're the smartest one and that nobody else has any other good ideas, like that's pretty.
Yeah,
fucking
no one wants to work for
self-centered.
someone like that. That's a good point. Yeah,
know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
Because like he, the owner of Threads, like any of us like have ideas, like we'll all sit there and talk. He listens to people, and it's like, I mean, everyone has something to offer. Like everyone has a good point of view that they could hear. And everyone, I mean, you could get some knowledge from anyone. But I think your menu is like super wild because you'll see things like your Philly cheesesteak, but it's not like your fucking $5 vendor cheesesteak that's like whack. It's like you get it and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's just like taste, like it's unreal. Like I'm gonna get takeout here for tonight.
I got
and
you,
then and then I'm gonna do the intro after I eat the food. So I'm gonna record it and I'm gonna give a little breakdown of what I had and everything.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah,
I'll
it's gonna
take
be
that.
dope. It's gonna be dope. But so like you're full into it. Like you cook. I always, anytime I'm here, you're always running up and down. Like,
and that's another big thing, man, is that a lot of people get what they want and get their dream in life, and that's it. And then they're out just fucking kicking it, and they ain't actually working and shit like that. Like, me and my wife, we flip every chair up and we put every chair down. Like no one else does. There hasn't been one shift that's ever been closed here where I haven't been here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, Bob's Burger situation, we're sitting above the restaurant in my place.
Yeah, dude. And
you know what I mean? It
wild.
just never ends. Like, if you want your business to run and you want your people to work alongside you and stuff like that, like, everyone wants to bitch about like employees and stuff like that, but it's like, how much time do you actually stand there and work
you gotta
with
be in
your
the fucking
people?
trenches.
Are you in the trenches with your people? Like,
Yeah.
are you working more than anybody else in your building, or are
Yeah.
you working less than everybody else?
And that's
in your
good, man.
building?
I'm sure
You know
that
what
like
I mean?
people like recognize that. Like even since I've probably been here maybe 6-7 times, and like every time I'm here, I always see you fucking sweating, running up and
Yeah.
down these steps, just like grinding, and like you could tell, and like that reflects through like your menu and shit, like your presentation of your food, like your cocktails. Like I don't drink, but like I've sipped some shit and I see how it's like presented, and it's like you could tell that it's like you could tell you take pride in the shit.
Yeah.
You don't like cut corners, and it's dope. Like it's
and that's a big thing, and like a thing that always makes me laugh. Like people ask me, be like, "Yo, like, what's your secret?" or "Fucking, how'd you do that?" Like stuff like that, and it's like, you do it proper. Like, if you literally cook exactly how you were supposed to be taught or how they say you should and shit like that, instead of like always trying to take the easy way out or cutting corners and doing stuff like that, I was like, the quality shows. The cheesesteak you were just talking about.
unreal.
So that, I take an actual ribeye, a prime rib, and I put that on a meat slicer and I shave it down instead of buying some frozen ass shit bag.
Yeah, it's not no
puck that's
steakums or
No,
nothing.
it's no steakum. That's a straight ribeye,
Yeah.
and then I get the rolls frozen, flown into me from South Philly. I get actual Amorosa rolls.
Jesus,
So,
really?
Like I said, like
I
I
didn't know
get
that.
weird about stuff like doing like a cheesesteak on my menu, even though it's like one of the top sellers because it's fire. And I mean, literally right before we did this, that's what I ate literally before you came here today.
Man.
Was I had one. And the thing is like, if I'm going to do something that's cheese dicky that everybody else does,
Make
you
it
know what I
dope.
mean? It better be the dopest fucking version.
Yeah,
of whatever it is,
because
that's
everyone's doing
thing.
the same shit. You want to like stand out
You
from
can
it.
only have so many buffalo chicken wraps and fucking chicken
Exactly.
salads and the same lame shit, and that's been the basis of our place since the beginning. Was that like, I don't want to be like everybody else. Like I want to have different shit and I want to do different things.
Yeah.
And like the one thing me and my wife always say, like to new employees and stuff that'll come in, is it's a goofy name, but when you actually look at what it is, it's a basic fucking thing. Like I'll never put nothing on my menu that's like so outlandish. Like the name might look mad outlandish to you.
Yeah, but
when you break it down and look at it, it's just a fucking a basic ass thing.
A perfect example is something that I've never had until I was here was the arancini.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't even know what it is. What is it?
It's risotto. It's risotto rice rolled up and then deep fried.
Yeah, I mean,
And
like,
that's it.
But it tastes fucking insane. It tastes insane. Everything does here. Steamed buns.
Oh man,
Bro,
those
steam
are
buns,
still one of my
The
favorites.
fucking wings, like they're all good, and like I enjoy cooking. I do. I genuinely enjoy it. Like me and my wife, like I fuck with Blue Apron. I don't have time to go to the
ain't
grocery
nothing
store.
wrong with that. I think stuff like that's super cool because stuff like that actually promotes people to actually cook.
It's so
and actually
dope.
do things.
There's
And-
so
and,
many
like,
different things you try. Like it's
Yeah.
not just like a fucking
broadens horizons.
piece of chicken and a salad. It's like you'll have some wild ass shit that I'll never have. Do you know what a finger lime is?
A finger lime?
A finger lime.
Or are you talking about a potato? Fingerling potato?
Nope. A finger lime.
I've never heard of that.
Exactly, bro. Blue Apron
Real
did.
shit.
They send you, it looks like a sweet pickle. We made some tostadas with some grilled chicken, and you cut open this sweet pickle thing, and you squeeze it on there, and it's like roe, but it's little like balls of lime, citrusy deliciousness.
You fucking sparked my interest now. I shit you not. I'll be
Hey,
Googling
on
that
this,
tonight
on
when
this
I can't
podcast
sleep.
right here.
Finger limes.
Finger limes, dude, and it's shit that like we'll get. Like me and my wife are not picky whatsoever. We genuinely go out. We like to try different shit.
Yeah.
Like why not? But they send you things that like they give you options where you're not just going out eating the same shit. So like, I mean, if you're stuck fucking working the same jobs every single day, I don't want to eat the same shit every day. I want to get out a little bit and have some stuff.
Yeah,
I'll have a
that's the
steak
truth.
and I'll have some fucking regular shit, but I want to have some weird shit as well.
Yeah.
Like I started getting into like. It just broadens your horizon. People are just
the other
afraid of
thing
what they
too
don't know.
is people need to remember and shit like that is that your taste buds change every 7 years.
Is that right?
That's a fucking fact. Like every 7 years, your taste buds change. So something you didn't like when you were a kid might be fire to you now. Like,
Asparagus for me.
Yeah, you know
I
what I mean?
despised it.
Yeah.
What kind of shit do you like? Like, what's some of your favorite foods ever?
Me, like, I'm such a sucker for basic shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, like gaucho and stuff like that, that's like so good to me because it's just simple. High quality meats, grilled bread,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
But like, I also am a sucker for comfort food. Like, I love like a good braised shank and
Yeah.
shit like that. But then also too, man, I live on cheesesteaks, frozen pizzas,
Yeah.
gyros down the street. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
You still gotta have some of that.
But like comfort food and shit like that, like a friggin' death row meal, like I'm eating a shank. You know what I mean?
A death row meal, man. I might throw that into.
You should think about that. That's a good one.
That's
to
a
go.
really good question. I'm gonna start incorporating that. What's your death row meal?
Yeah. Braised
Man,
shank,
I appreciate
baby.
that. That's fucking
Braised
dope.
shank.
Death row meal. That's a good answer. Braised shank. I don't know what I would do. So I know we're talking about food and everything like that, but I see that like I'm looking around your house and I see like all this fucking artwork. Like what kind of shit did you grow up like listening to? What kind of shit did you like? Like, did you skateboard? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
skateboard.
I could have guessed. Like, you have a bunch of tattoos. Like, you dress exactly like how I dress, camo shorts. All this fucking artwork. Like, I feel that like you could tell a somewhat similar mindset. Like, what kind of shit did you listen to back then?
When I was a kid, I listened to pretty much anything. Like
So you have a Misfits tattoo?
Yeah, the first thing I ever remember listening to and stuff like that, I'd listen to my dad's like Jimi Hendrix records and do my
Okay.
homework like in second grade.
Yeah.
My mom was like a manager of National Record Mart like in the 70s.
Really?
So like my dad's record collection was like 500 deep.
I
Like,
bet.
all Beatles, Zeppelins, Hendrix.
So you were
Elton
into
John,
it
like
pretty.
that. Yeah, so I always fucked around with music, and like to this day, like music's like one of the sickest things to me because like I'll hear any song and like music has a very weird thing with me where it takes me exactly to a memory.
Exactly.
And all this shit in a time and a place and something that was happening and there's songs like that like I'll stand in the kitchen all day long. You stand in the same room with the same dude sweating and bullshitting all day
Yeah.
long, like listening to different types of music all day, and it's like, oh man, back when this thing came out,
Yeah,
yada yada yada.
For sure.
I mean, all the time. But like, yeah, I was always eclectic, listening to that, and then got older, listened to punk rock, always into like rap and stuff like that. And I mean, the one thing I really don't get down on really is like country. Like other than that, like I'm down
understandable.
there listening to my Temptations station.
Yeah, you
like
got
I love
to.
my soul music,
Got
always
to.
have, always will. Like
You got to.
that's like some of my like if I had like one choice of like style of music to listen to, I'd listen to like Motown soul jazz
Oh, yeah?
the rest of my life. If
That's
I
what's
could only
up.
pick one thing.
I fuck with that.
You know what I mean? It always puts a smile on the face.
I see you have that guitar over there. Do you play guitar?
Fuck no.
No?
That's my wife, so she can't play guitar. It's
Said,
like
fuck no.
it's
Sorry, it looks nice.
it looks like it.
It fits the part.
Yeah, that's her. She got it for Christmas before she ever met me, and it's been in the corner of my room ever since I've known
Sorry,
her.
it looks good. I always ask everyone just because like I'm such a big movie fan. Like, what kind of movies did you watch growing up? Were you a movie person?
Yeah, my dad was like, I'm not real big on like relevant movies, but if it's like anything before like 2000-ish, like when I like actually, because I spent a lot of time being grounded and shit and fucking up when I was younger.
Yeah, if
So,
you're running
like,
around, you don't have time to watch movies.
yeah,
and
I
shit.
just sat around and watched movies, but I'm big war buff in general.
Oh, yeah?
Like I'm a big documentary dude. Like watch a lot of documentaries. Like always reading something. Like, you know what I mean? Like if it's knowledge, I'm into it. Like,
Yeah.
Like I'm not like I don't watch like reality TV or shit like that.
That's good.
Like it's got to have some kind of knowledge driven.
I
You know
understand
what I
that.
mean? Like I'm into that.
Now, I mean, when you're not cooking or riding your bike, like you said, those are pretty much the only things I've heard you say that you do. What else do you do for fun? Like anything? You just chill with your homies?
I chill with my homies when I can.
Yeah.
Like it's hard.
I
like
mean, you probably don't have a lot of free time doing this shit.
Nah, I really don't. And like I've always just been a ball of excuses of like, you know, I'm sorry, man, I can't. I'm working. You know what I mean? That's been the story of my life. But at the same time, when I get my free time, like I like kicking it with my friends. You know, scumbagging it up, having fun with them, and riding my bike with my wife. A lot of times, like on my day off, I only get one day off a week, and that's Mondays. And, and like normally that is only a half a day because I got to do all my paperwork and orders and shit for that, and so does she. But like I try to when I have like Monday off, like spend it with my chick and stuff.
Yeah,
like
for
that.
sure.
Like people always want to do stuff like yesterday. Like I was talking to you and stuff like that. I was gonna go like float the river with my boys and stuff like that, but I was up all night. They were painting murals in the place, and like I just wanted to sleep. And when I woke up, me and my chick just rode our bikes around the city.
You can't beat that.
I mean, like
you can't beat that.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask you this too. As far as like people in the cooking world right now, like, do you fuck with any of these like chefs out there now, like that Matty Matson or like
that dude's fucking annoying.
Yeah,
fuck with him.
you don't fuck with him.
he's annoying.
Well, that's why I asked that because like
Yeah.
I'm curious what real. I mean, I'm not saying that dude like ain't a real chef, but like
no, he
what,
is.
what
That
people,
dude. That dude's a boss. I just don't
Yeah.
like the shtick because I had one cooking show approach me about this business.
Oh yeah.
And I don't even remember what the name was. The dude was like a C-rate Guy Fieri. He was some kind of Indian comedian.
Yeah.
And like he does this like show basically like diners, dives, and drive-ins.
Yeah.
And like when the producer called me, like she ate here, like being in Pittsburgh, nothing to do with the show, and just loved the place. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I told her though, first thing I said was like, yo, like I'm being serious, like I'm not into the exploitation of this industry, and I'm really not into the cheese dick wonky
Oh, I can't
shit.
believe you guys made your way in
Trying
here.
to make me say like 50-cent jokes and shit. Like
Yeah.
I was like, that ain't gonna fly, man. I was like, I'm telling you that right now.
That's respectable,
She's like,
dude.
She's like, I think you and the guy, I can't even remember his name. She's like, oh, we'll like really riff well together. She's like, I'll email you an episode to check it out. I was like, all right, cool, bet. So I popped this thing in. I think I made it to 1 minute and 37 seconds into the fucking thing, and I emailed her back. I was like, no, thank you. I was like, not taking part in that. Like, I would rather keep my dignity than
you
be
have to hold yourself to a certain
You know
standard,
what I mean?
not just out there like just trying to like get whatever's there.
Yeah, but I mean, like me, like I like people like I still like I mean, I still love Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
Like on the Matty Matheson side, I fuck with Action Bronson. Like his
That's what I was gonna ask
music,
you. Like
his whole thing. Like
he's
if
dope.
he came in here and kicked it, Nate, and we put something in the air, I'd fucking be a happy man.
Yeah, like he's dope. Like I mean,
Yeah.
like he. I feel like that. Again, I try to talk to all these people that do different things that I don't fucking do. And I'm like, you know what I think about it? And it's like, I'm not a fucking cook, but like this dude seems like Bronson seemed to be like a legit cook before he started
he was
rapping.
a legit dude. From what
like
I understand, he was super legit.
Yeah, he said the only reason he even got into rapping is because he broke his leg in the kitchen of where he was working, and he couldn't get around because like it was such a bad break, and he was just chilling with his dudes, and like his bodyguard, that big body Best dude, he originally was like a rapper, and Bronson was just like, fuck it, I'll try it, and just ended up killing it. And
being
ever
good
since
with
then kind of went on.
That's sick.
It's
I'm
dope
into
hearing
that.
about that. It's dope hearing about that because he seemed like that he was like he seems that he held himself, just because I listen to him on podcasts, I watch all of his shows on YouTube on Vice, and like he seemed to like the way you talk about shit about like how like if it ain't fucking done right, like I don't want to fucking do it, and like he seemed to be like a legit dude.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I mean,
I got the same feeling about the dude, that like his philosophy and like the way he like views food and talks, like he's not up. And one of the reasons like people like say he's like a dumbass and stupid and shit like that.
Not at
like
all.
me personally, I I look at him as more as like a dude that I'd be friends with and I could fucking kick it with.
Yeah.
And like,
he's not a fucking dickhead.
he's not a dipshit.
He knows
He's not
shit, but he's
uppity,
not
but
going to be like, you're wrong, sir.
Yeah,
like, you're
he's
wrong.
Not, and I mean, I've spent my whole life getting prejudged by people
Yeah.
on like, you know, not having the knowledge one would think.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's cool. And it still happens weekly here. Like,
Well, there's a difference between people that don't have that knowledge and don't care to get it, and the people that just don't have it and are trying to find it.
yeah. And I
it's
agree
like,
with that totally.
Those are the people that want to just like, I don't know. That's why like I wanted to talk to you, dude. Like I like what you do down here. It's like I like the whole like obviously your walls are covered in like graffiti. You got like cool shit everywhere, stickers. Like I mean, it's just the shit that I enjoy. So like that's why I fucking started this podcast to talk to people.
That's what's up, man.
I think it's
and
interesting.
I like what you're doing. You're doing a fucking good thing too.
I
Like I
appreciate
said,
it.
I listened to a couple, handful of episodes and stuff. Me and my wife listened to the one with Flack on the way out to her brother's graduation.
Interesting
last week
dude,
and
right?
shit. Yeah, interesting dude. Real cool.
Very
Real cool.
interesting guy.
Definitely have seen his face around before.
Yeah, absolutely. He's always around here. All right. Are you familiar with the desert island questions?
Yeah, I heard you go through them before.
You ready to go through that?
Yeah, I'll go through that.
Anything else you want to touch on?
Nah.
We'll plug all the events after.
All right, word life.
All right. So, desert island questions. Everyone who listens knows what it is, but I give everyone three choices for each for three different categories to take with them on a desert island if they're stranded like Tom Hanks. So, three movies to take with you on a desert island to watch over and over again for the rest of your life.
Like,
I'll let you take, I'll let you take like a whole Godfather series. I'll let you take a TV series.
well, that was the thing. Like, I was definitely gonna take like the first Godfather was definitely on the list.
Really?
For sure.
I think it's so overrated.
Do you?
I think it's
Why,
just
you like number two better?
No, I just think they're all overrated.
Oh man, come on.
I mean, like
bro.
they're
That's
good,
why
but
I'm
like
just-
I think that there's so many better. Like,
See, I feel that way about Scarface and people.
yeah, like
wanking
that's
on it.
trash, dude.
stupid.
Like that's trash. It's
It
all
is
nostalgic.
trash. Like it's
like
trash.
I don't know, dude. But like Godfather, I mean, it's not. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. That's an OG movie, OG for sure. It's just like some people fucking hold it to like the
Yeah.
highest standard.
See, my thing is that's just one of those ones that my wife would tell you that every time I cut on the TV and there's nothing on, that's on AMC. It's
Yeah,
on.
I get that. I
You
get that
know?
100%.
Like, and that's how I know I could watch something like that forever.
I get that
I would
100%.
take the Band of Brothers series.
Okay.
I definitely take that.
Yeah, that was good for sure.
I fucking love that. It's still one of my all-time favorites.
That was good.
And another movie.
Another movie.
Shit.
That's all right. I'll cut out any dead time.
Maybe something funny.
Probably.
Oh wait, can I do a documentary?
Fuck yeah. Anything.
American Pimps.
American Pimps.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever seen
by the
that.
Hughes brothers. They made it. It was an old HBO documentary. called
Really?
American Pimps. I used to have it on VHS.
Is it about pimps?
Yeah, real life pimps. It's a
Okay.
documentary about real life pimps.
Okay, American Pimps, Band of Brothers, and
Godfather.
Godfather.
I'll
Those are
take
good-
the trilogy if you're willing.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are good choices. Side question though: are you a Casino or Goodfellas? What do you prefer more?
I mean, I probably would say I like Goodfellas more, but I've seen it way more, like to
Yeah.
the point where I don't like even want to put it on. But
Yeah. It's understandable.
I fuck with Casino hard.
I always
like
ask.
Casino
I
a
love
lot.
it. I mean, Casino for me. I love gambling, and
Oh, you're a gambler?
I gamble a little bit. I dabble a little bit, but like I just enjoy the environment. You know?
Yeah.
I've always loved cards. I used to fucking do Magic.
Oh, no
like,
shit.
I used to fucking. I just always was in it. My pap, who was like everything in the world, he used to fucking play cards Wednesdays and Sundays and just like crush and like always would come home with mad money. He would play in like, the basement games under like American
yeah.
Legions, and just like he could probably like count cards. Like he was just so good at it. But it was just always around. So Casino always definitely like hit with me a little bit more than Goodfellas. But I mean, like, you got to watch The Sauce, and I fuck with the Goodfellas movie. Yeah, got to watch The Sauce. Second one is, if you got to choose, you said you read a little bit. Like, did
Yeah.
you read books at all?
Not many, but
So I ask people 3 books to take with them on a desert island, but I give people like a constellation question. Like, were you a video game player?
Not really.
Me either.
See, all I got is a Sega over there, bro.
Me either. If you could, I
got books. I got books I'd read.
3 books.
I'd take Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain.
Okay. What is that?
It was a
Is it
book
like
about his life.
Oh, okay. So it's like autobiography type shit?
Yeah, but that's what made him a TV star. Before that book is what put him to stardom. He just wrote the book to write the book as like a gully ass chef in New York City.
Well, I didn't know that.
And the publicity of that book is what made him a star and gave him a TV show.
Really?
And it was the first book that ever actually told what it's like really like to work in a kitchen, like drugs.
You know that dude's a savage at jiu-jitsu?
Yes, I do. Unreal.
I follow
shit. His ex-wife was like a fucking animal, like for like
crazy, dude.
Yeah.
People don't even know about him, and
Yeah.
they're like, once you hear about him and you like get in one of them wormholes on YouTube or something, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This dude who's like,
I'm telling you, read the book. If you already enjoy who he is as a person,
I would definitely read that
book because he wrote it about his own life when he had nothing. And
Yeah.
like he said, like, I literally wrote the book because I thought like maybe a couple dishwashers and an old staff of mine would buy it, and ended up becoming.
I would
a New
definitely
York
read
Times
that.
bestseller. It's only about yay big.
yeah,
It's good though,
Okay.
but it's sick. It's just about him like doing drugs, closing restaurants down, extorting owners for money, and like.
I'll definitely
It literally
read that.
starts from him as a teenager through culinary school.
What was it called again?
Kitchen Confidential.
Kitchen Confidential. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I'd take that with me, and I would take Nikki Sixx's book, fucking The Heroin Diaries, which is an insane book.
I bet. Yeah, I bet.
Bro, that book is his diary entries. He kept like a strict diary of his life, and like the book goes like you read a diary entry of the date, and then like people in his life will do commentary on that moment in life, like about
really?
the diary entries. Like
Jesus.
band members, managers, friends, shit like that.
I fuck with stuff like that.
But like the book starts off like Christmas Eve, like 1986, when they're like the top band in the world, and he's like naked under a Christmas tree with a shotgun and shit, just like smoking crack and shooting dope, like
Jesus
going crazy.
Christ.
Like it's a wild, wild fucking book.
I also want to read Keith Richards' book.
Yeah, I heard that's sick. I never.
My mom
that.
read it. She was like, "This was insane." I was like, "I bet it was."
That dude's like the OG nutball, bro. Like
Imagine
I
being
imagine.
that famous for 50 years, just like not even be able to walk anywhere.
Yeah. And I
wonder why Britney Spears shaves her fucking head.
I thought she was gonna hang it up when she did that.
Right?
shit.
She's killing it
really
now.
did. I was like,
She got
yo,
a residency in Vegas. She's making bank, wiping her ass with 20s.
She bounced back. She bounced back real fucking.
Where's Kevin Federline at now? He's fucking sitting in his basement.
Yeah, he ain't doing shit.
Okay, so you got Nikki Sixx book, Anthony Bourdain.
And I don't know. Maybe I mean that's just a cookbook, but it's like about there. I'd take the Escoffier cookbook with me, even though I couldn't cook. I would like to read about
That's
it.
fine. Last question is 3 music albums to take in. I know it's difficult to do.
I'd take my Temptations Best Of CD.
Okay.
Off the top.
Okay.
I'm taking that with me. I don't know. Maybe the Double Biggie. That's always classic. I've always loved that.
Yeah.
I'll
You
take the
Biggie
Life
over a
After This.
Tupac?
Yeah, all day.
Okay.
I'm a proper East Coast boy. Not that I don't love Tupac, but
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
you know what I mean.
Gotta love Biggie
Yeah,
Smalls.
you gotta love it. He's lyrically way better.
Yeah.
I'd take that and damn. Maybe I don't know. Maybe take some old fuck. Yeah, I just like so much music. It's hard to. It's
hard to put
narrow it all down.
It's hard.
I don't know. Fucking. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a Gucci CD with me or something.
That's a good answer. Temptations, Biggie, and Gucci.
Yeah,
Those are
that's
good.
what I'll take with me.
All right, last question. If there's anyone in the world, alive or dead, that you could sit down and talk with, who would it be and why?
I'd talk to my dad again, for sure.
Understandable, for sure.
Left on a weird note, and not personally, but I mean, just Would rather chat. Would like to have a chat. I've said to my wife before and stuff, I'd give 10 years of my life off to get like an hour.
Oh,
You know
for
what I
sure, dude. I would love to talk to my grandfather right now.
You know what I mean?
It's like after you become like an adult and get your shit straight.
Yeah.
And like be able to like
Actually level with someone and talk to him and
level
stuff
with
like
someone
that, man to man.
Like, yeah, like because my pap, like I was probably like 15 whenever he passed away, 16, and it's just like you can't have good conversations. You're still to the point where you're like, I don't want to be here. Your mind's somewhere else. It's like I would do anything in the world to just be able to sit there and talk for an hour.
Yeah, I copped like a hot year of like being able to like just talk and like, be like man to man. Like, because my dad was always weird about like that. Like after 18, like you're an adult. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of shit. So he like I copped like one good year of where he like actually leveled and just talked.
That's dope,
Like
though.
that. So I'd like to chat with him.
That's understandable. Well, I appreciate you doing this very much.
No doubt, man. It was fun.
It was fun.
I enjoyed it.
Take a minute, plug everything you want to plug.
We got the Dog Pal on the Rabbit art show coming at my restaurant, Streets on Carson, 1120 East Carson Street in the Southside. That's June 14th with Evil Fran. Limited tickets still left. Come check it out. And you can also get in at the door as well. But yeah, come down to Streets on Carson. Check it out at Streets on Carson for every social media outlet there is. And that's about it.
I will. I'll put all the information in the description below. Definitely come and check out the art show. I was over there and I seen all the artwork that he has prepared, and it's fucking insane. It's insane. There's so much shit to choose from.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Shit that you probably have never seen. So definitely come and check it out. I appreciate everyone listening. Follow me on social media at I'll Call You Right Back on Instagram, at ICYRB Podcast on Twitter, at I'll Call You Right Back Podcast on Facebook, or you can email me. Let me know what I'm doing well, what I'm not doing as good, who you'd like to hear on here. Tell me I'm a piece of shit. I appreciate everyone listening again, and I'll call you right back.